Hello, I'm Gabriel Benitez with Sound Devices. We're here at NAB New York, and I want to talk to you a little bit about our Pixie 7 field recording monitor from our Video Devices brand of products. So the Pixie 7 is a 7-inch field recording monitor that has all the monitoring tools in addition to some very powerful recording features. It has all the flavors of ProRes, including 4444 and 4444 XQ, but it can also do H.264 at the same time as the ProRes recording. So on the speed drive you can do ProRes, and on an SD card you can do H.264, and the H.264 file takes timecode and the LUTs baked into the file. So if you allow me, why don't you come in a little bit and I'll show you some of the things that make the Pixie 7 stand out among the competition. One of them is the PixLR. The PixLR is an accessory that gives several features. You have two Sound Devices microphone preamps, and as you can imagine, Sound Devices is known for their quality of their sound quality of their microphone preamps. You have transport control to record, play, fast forward. And you don't need the accessory for transport control, because if you look up here, you have transport controls, but the bigger and lit buttons are preferred. Then in addition, you have audio meters. Now the neat thing about the audio meters on the PixLR is that they don't necessarily need to reflect the audio meters of the preamps. In the back of the PixLR, there are two female XLR inputs and two male XLR outputs. We're not using them at the moment, yet bouncing meters are on display. So how does that happen? I selected the PixLR to show the audio that's coming embedded over HDMI. So rather than having to depend on these two small meters up here, I have two nice big bright meters on the bottom, and I can just clean up my display, throw up a marker, and work like this. Another neat thing that the PixLR does is that it can take this embedded audio over HDMI and convert it to analog line level output to feed other devices. So the PixLR is definitely a product, I would say an accessory, that makes the Pixie 7 product stand out among the competition. The other feature that I like to show is called FileSafe. Now FileSafe is it's a redundancy feature that's designed to protect, it's designed to protect the recording in the event that it is interrupted. So let's go to a 422 codec, and let me hit record and explain what FileSafe does. So the way we write our files is that during the recording process and the finalization process, we use a proprietary extension, and I'm just going to kind of summarize this. It's not all the technical details, but it allows us to interrupt the recording or interrupt the finalization process and not leave the file corrupted. So as soon as 30 seconds of absolute time rolls, I can pull the drive out and interrupt the recording and not lose the file. Simply to finalize this, I can do one or two things. I can put it back into the unit and wait for it to mount, and as soon as it mounts, up on the screen it's going to say finalizing, and it's going to recognize that there's an unfinalized file on the drive, and there we go, and finalize it for me. So if I go to my file list, that's the last file up on top, I hit play, and there it is, your protected file. Another really neat thing, typically during recording, is that you can accidentally bump the power button. If I bump the power button while recording or while finalizing, the unit does not shut down. So these are professional redundancy features put in place to protect the content from accidents, etc., etc. So I would say that between FileSafe, power, the power protection, the PixLR and the Speed Drive. I'm going to pull it out and show you. The Speed Drive, I think all these things are features that make us stand out. The neat thing about the Speed Drive is it looks like a pen drive, like a traditional pen drive, but it's not. Inside this enclosure is an mSATA chip. And the reason why we use a USB connector is for the user not to have to invest in a dock or in a specialized cable. They take the media out of the recorder and drop it in a computer, and they're ready to go. So you don't need a dock, you don't need a special cable, things that can get lost or break while you're, rolling. So what we do is inside the enclosure, there's special circuitry that does a conversion. When the Speed Drive is inserted into the Pixie recorder, it reads and writes at SATA speeds. When it's inserted into a computer, it transfers the content at USB 3 speeds. That conversion is done by the Speed Drive enclosure, and it may look proprietary, but it doesn't have a proprietary price tag. It's $60 list. The real money is in the type of mSATA chip that you would put in here. And currently we support 3 versions of the Samsung Evo. I think it's the Samsung Evo 850, and there's a 250, 500, and 1 terabyte size drive. So I'd say that between the Speed Drive, the PixLR, and the FileSafe, and the power switch feature, all these things are put into place to really add value to the user when they're investing in a Video Devices brand of products.